Some things are very difficult for me to explain in the Cane Builder issue with the text and photos. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how I made the lines in the petals of the pansies. So this is a Skinner blend that I show in the Cane Builder issue. Now most people make an accordion fold. I can make a very good case for a different kind of stacked Skinner blend because of the way the gradation works better. Anyway, this is just straight out of my pasta machine. I always make blends that fill the pasta machine side to side to begin with. It's much easier to keep its shape that way. So I didn't do anything special. This is straight out of the pasta machine. And I'm going to stack it. It doesn't always stick so nicely. You know, often I'll have to pick it up, slice it, stack it again. Now I could have measured to make that perfect. This one looks like it's going to turn out just fine. You can just stretch that a little if it doesn't quite fit. And now you have a nice stack. You can insert it already just like this in a kaleidoscope. Or you can manipulate it different ways. For this cane, I want to insert lines in the blend. There are several techniques. I'm sure you've seen the one where they cut a bullseye cane into triangles and use that. I'm going to show you a way that I just love for making those. They look like brush strokes in the cane. So what I want to do is pull the color through in lines. I could use an old plastic card of some sort. I've tried using the blunt end of my tissue blade. It still didn't pull quite enough of the color through. So in this case, I wrapped mine in cardstock, and I just want to pull that color through. Now, how well that color pulls through, first of all, you need to go slow. You know, the idea isn't just to cut the clay, but to pull the color through. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'll do 6 on both sides. Can't remember what the tutorial says. So if I go slowly, that'll pull that through. How soft or firm the clay is will make a difference with that. Sometimes I flatten it more. That might have been a good idea. If it were flatter, it seems to pull the color through better. I wouldn't always flatten it, but since I forgot to begin with, I'll flatten it now. Let me try it. And now I'll do the opposite in between those lines. I'm pulling the light down into the dark. Kind of staggered. I wouldn't have to pull all the way if I only wanted lines halfway through. These I'm really trying to pull all the way down. Now at this point, if I don't think it really took, I could try again. I could flip it over and pull the purple back down again. But I think this should do it. It's best if it works one way. This is the confusing part in the tutorial, is because it's long and fat and we want it to be a cane. So I'm actually going to squish this all together. And squishing it is also what makes those lines more dramatic. They might hardly not show up at first, but as I squish this, those lines, I hope, will become more dramatic. Again, the idea is to make them look like brush strokes. Or, well, I like the idea of brush strokes, but really it's like the way the veins, I want them to look like veins in leaves. The tutorial shows this technique also with leaves. And if you look at many flowers, they have this, the way the color streaks through the petals. It's more like lines than a solid blend. So now it's the complete opposite, or you know, kind of direction, shape that it had been. It's going to be sections of this that I use. Like I said, each one will be a petal or a brush stroke. So let's see, the pansy cane ended up, I think I ended up doing this in 4. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that before I even put the lines in, what if I've decided I only want some of the light section or the dark section? I would have I could have stopped at any point and taken off sections. I could have had a nice light, you know, high key blend, a low key blend, and then a blend with the entire, you know, the entire range. So of course it looks all squishy. So let's slice off the end. I wouldn't always do that at this point, but I want to show you, and we'll see if it worked out. I'll probably put it back on and rework it, but there's the lines that you should be able to see in the pansy petals. Now if I want those lines, that shading to be different, I can also use some kind of round tool. These are Pandora's cane benders. Love them. So this will make even more painterly shadows in the petals. I tried to pull some color through. They're not as much lines as they are almost folds in the petals. So in that case, I'll start with a blend. And this pulls the color through even more dramatically because it's not slicing that top layer. The color bends with it all the way through. But the difference is this one, I'm maybe not going to take all the way through. Maybe I just want that one to be a small one. And this one, maybe I'll use even a bigger one. This one's going to be quite dramatic. It's going to go all the way, almost all the way down. And I'll put one more here. So I have daisies, sunflowers, other flowers that I feel like making like this. So you can see, I'll get the other ones in there. If I really want to pull the color down into the petal, that one's gonna have the light all the way through the petal. That way, this one's gonna have some nice dark shading down the end of the petal. And this is a little bit trickier to fold up. It's really more dramatic. Hopefully that'll get some nice, beautiful shadows deep into the petal. I want it to be as random as possible. It might be good to do this even in sections so that each petal is slightly different. Really? I don't know how this one's going to turn out. See, this makes the dark side of the petal, shadows on it. So if this side is next to this side, it'll make like a border line in between the petals, so that the petals don't all blend together. You can see distinct petals in the flower. Let's see how this turned out. So at this stage, it can be gathered up. It's a beautiful flower petal. It can be rounded. It could be doubled. So as you know, there are other techniques, but I love the painterly aspect of this, the way that you can really change the shading into the petal in any way you want. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you are successful in your cane building. Thank you.